Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Buffett and Beyond Research Saturday Stock Market Recap, November 8th, 2025. And yes, we're into November already and thinking about Thanksgiving. And remember, folks, if you want to watch the sunrise on this beach like Jimmy Buffett once did, you've got to learn how to invest even better than Warren Buffett does now. And, well, this week, the government partial shutdown and some overvalued names finally wore on the market. And that potential short-term signal that we had last week gave us a bit more than a reversion to the mean. In our weekly stock analysis video, Amazon and NVIDIA are two favorite stocks for most portfolios. But which of these stocks is more fairly priced? You're going to be very, very surprised. And our ETF video, the semiconductor ETF has been taking it on the chin these past few days. However, our top stocks in this ETF, and there's 5 of them this year, are still up 78% for the year, even after the decline of this week. And our top stocks, which are changed just once a year in this ETF, are up more than 1,000% over the past 6.9 years. Yes, folks, this is a rocking portfolio, to say the least. All right, let us look at the S&P, and it's down almost 2.5% as I'm writing this, which is about an hour before the close of the market. And you can see that we've had a tough 2 weeks in here. And these are the volatility bands, and you can see they are just starting to close a little bit, which is a good sign, actually. And this is the 20-day moving average right in the middle here. And you can see we went below that, and then on Thursday and on Friday we are below that, but we're kind of closing. We went down quite a bit, and right in here we're closing maybe almost even for the day by the time this market does settle down in about another hour or so. The problem is that this indicator down here has pointed down, and it's got to resolve itself before we can look for a rally. But a rally may come this coming week, as we are now getting, see this line down here? We've gone beneath it, and we'll see if this can turn around this coming week in here. Just like it did in here, when you see it turn around and then it starts going back up, that's the beginning of a buy signal. So we're not too down on this market. And back up here again, we would like to see it touch this bottom band, just like it did back here, and then give us another rally. And when we look at the other indicator that we use up here, which is called stochastics, you can see we're still pointed down, and we'll wait for this black line to start turning up, just like it did over here and just like it did over here. So we're down to the 50-day moving average, and that is the line of support right now. Went below it, and right now we're above it as I'm recording this again an hour before the market closes on Friday. And when we look at the QQQs, well, they're down almost 4% this week alone. So they've had a tough couple of days. And again, they're sitting right on that 50-day moving average down here. This green line is the 20-day moving average. So when we call for reversion to the mean, we meant this 20-day moving average, went below it with no problem, and went below the 50-day moving average, and now is clawing itself back and using that as support. So we'll see if that holds, and it probably should. Again, the only problem is that this indicator is still pointing down, and you can see these lines down here, and they may turn up, maybe Tuesday or so, something like that, and we'll see what happens at that particular time. Not worried about this market because there's too many good things pointing toward it. Of course, we do have the government still shut down, but that's not bad. At least the government can't do anything, or I should say Congress can't do anything while it's in pretty much stalemate. So that's a good thing for the market. The market usually doesn't react badly to that alone, but the market just kind of wore itself out. Again, up here, it got too far ahead of itself, and it had to come back and give up some of those gains, and then we'll just start rallying all over again. It's just a matter of days that we feel on this end, but we'll see how the market closes, and then we'll see what Monday does. Again, the QQQs right down to that 50-day moving average, and it looks just like the S&P 500 just got too far ahead of itself up here and had to revert back, and then just some Friday jitters, and the market said, okay, do we want to be long going into the weekend? And with the market coming back from the lows of the day, that's a very, very good sign. And we're looking at, it's 6:04 as I'm recording this, the QQQs, and it was holding that 600 line, which is right at the 50-day moving average. So that's a good sign. Again, we still have this indicator all the way down here, which is just giving us a little heartburn for a couple of days, but we don't think it's anything that we have to worry about. And we all have our protection in place, or some protection in place. This is about a $200,000 portfolio, and we have 3 SPY puts. And remember, SPYs are 1/10 of the S&P 500, and you can see that they're down, or they're sitting at around 666 as I'm recording this, down from 682. So that's a drop of about 2.5%. And we have our puts in place, so we're not worried. We can get a downdraft in here, and we're fine. We can sleep well. The QQQ is also sitting at 602 as I'm recording this, holding that 600 level, which is good, down from 629. So that had about a 4% move to the downside, which is pretty well. It happens pretty quick, and it's all in the semiconductor stocks and some from the technical stocks, but mostly from the semiconductors. But we've got our puts in place, so we don't have to worry about a big decline at all. And Monday, which is usually a down day, and then turn around Tuesday. So we'll see what happens in this coming week, and it should be all right. We're not worried about this market at this particular time. So, folks, we had a rough week. We had a rough, actually, 2 weeks. So go out there, clear your head this weekend, and don't worry about it. And you be with your family, maybe have Sunday dinner. And remember, if you want to walk on this beach like Jimmy Buffett once did, you've got to learn how to invest even better than Warren Buffett does now. We're in all good stocks, so folks, you go out, don't worry about it, and most of all, stay safe, and we'll see you right back here in a couple of days.